Hey guys, welcome back to the Foolish Show. Of course, I am Foolish Phil. Michigan started off their basketball season tonight. Thought I'd give you a few thoughts after Michigan's 101-53 victory over the Cleveland State. I believe they're the Vikings. I gotta say, this game was refreshing after suffering through the terrible season last year. I think 8 wins, something like that. The worst record since like 19 something or other, where Michigan finished last in the Big Ten. It was nice to see what Dusty May has been able to bring into the program via the portal. You got that C.J. Carson coming as I think a freshman came with him from, committed him as FIU and he came to Michigan. Just this team was a breath of fresh air compared to the stagnant boringness of last year under Juwan Howard. Nothing against Juwan Howard, I just didn't think he was actually a coach. He maybe would be an NBA type coach, but not a college coach. There's a big difference. There really is. But that's not really the point of this conversation. Dusty May's Michigan tenure started off with a bang. I just got to say, the team, for one, plays aggressive. I know it's Cleveland State, and to be fair, according to KenPom, I think it is Michigan's number 36, and good old Cleveland State's 183. The betting line was 20 points. So Michigan was expected to win, but they certainly played well. In fact, they shot nearly a school record 68% from the floor for when the starters were in the game. They were in the above 70% from the field. So, that started going off lower and lower as the backups got on, especially there was no chance once the scrubs really came in. But that's not the point. I just think this team played with drive and determination on defense, which I think is a big plus. They're aggressive and they have height. One of the things you could definitely look at Michigan was that they would have their point guards in the past that were not very tall. Xavier Simpson, loved him, his little hook, but man, he was not tall. Doug McDaniel last year, not tall. It's like you did not see tall guards at Michigan. And now, Donaldson, I think his last name is. I'm going to have to get to know all these different players because they're just so many of them are fresh, except for Burnett, Cheddar, and Howard off the bench. Donaldson, he's a starting point guard. He's 6'3". That's don't get me wrong, but that's like as tall as I am. I think I'm 6'2", and I'm like a pretty tall guy, and he's 6'3", and he's your point guard. All right, let's go. Michigan really spread the ball around. They played aggressive. They did well. I believe it was 6 players had double figures for the game. I would love to give you guys some cool stats, but CBS Sports and ESPN were so backlogged with all kinds of games. It's like the opening night of college basketball. There's probably 150 basketball games going on tonight. And so nothing was updated. All I could see was a score on ESPN, and CBS was I was checking out the stats at halftime. They still had on their website, it was 7 minutes to go in the first half. So I'm like, you're a little bit behind here, CBS, but at least you were giving stats. ESPN didn't even do that. They just had the score. Team looked good. Danny Wolf, I think it is, at 18 points, and he had a double-double, almost a triple-double, I believe it was. Donaldson did great. Oh, this team just looks really good. And then you even add in your freshmen like C.J. Casson, and you had Fat Brooks, which is from around my area here, and he's from Grand Rapids Catholic, I think it is. He was Mr. Basketball. He's around where he's from around where I'm at. So it's really cool that you got to see those players come in and play meaningful minutes. It wasn't they're just going to come in and play scrub minutes. They came in and played impactful minutes. And that's really important for building the program because I don't have the roster in front of me, but I don't think everyone on this team's coming back next year. I'm sure there's some fifth-year guys who are going to be out of eligibility after this year. So it's really cool that Michigan can hopefully build some depth. Definitely, this is an encouraging start for Dusty May's tenure. Obviously, you hope to win this game, but after last year when you had games against lower level opponents and they would come in and play you tough or even beat you, This was nice to get a streamlined, easy win by 48 points. Like, just that's the way you want to have your opening night. It's only one game and is against a inferior opponent, but you can't complain too much. Now, there are some things to work on. I'm sure the coaches will talk about them. Definitely offensive rebounding. Cleveland State had way too many offensive rebounds. They had that guy, their power forward, nice arm tattoo on him. He was just all over the boards, getting tons of extra chances for them. At one point, I believe they had 10 second chance points to Michigan's 0, whereas Michigan had 15 fast break points to 0 for Cleveland State. And that's something else, too. With Juwan Howard's team, you always just walk the ball up the court. I don't know if that was just trying to save, Hunter Dickinson or our center last year. He transferred out, but just to save them from getting tired. This year's team, it's just run. You might score on us, and Michigan will just come right back and attack. They are not being passive. They're aggressive, and that's kind of going through the whole team. The whole mentality is like, be aggressive. And you get a couple fouls, that's all right. Michigan has depth now. Surprisingly, what's it like to have depth? Like, you got Cheddar coming off the bench with double figures and such. He's like the energy guy, man. If you can try to find his dunk in the second half, that was an epic one. You wouldn't think you'd be able to make it, but he made it. It was a nice dunk, and it looked great, and the crowd was all into it. I mean, that was the last moment where the starters or the backups got out, and then the backups went in. So he's excellent. And I remember when Cheddar started, I was thinking he's like just that classic guy who's going to be annoying to every Big Ten team because he's going to just be around for 4 years and just be annoying. He's going to keep getting better and better. And he had some good moves, and he's learning from Wolf and our other big guy, Vladen. I'm sure I'm saying his name wrong. I got to get the names down. I'm not good at that yet. But he's got some good moves. So it's just talent, as you add talent, your bar, the bottom of your roster is also improving. It raises everyone up because there's so much talent on the team. Now, it's one game. Got the win. Not sure how they'll do against other teams. Obviously you get into it. No doubt they're going to be playing a tough couple games, and I think it's going to the Bahamas around Thanksgiving, and then they'll play, some tough Big Ten games, obviously, too. But this is a good beginning. This is what you want to see from your team in Game 1. Aggressive, excellent ball movement. I want to see how many assists they got, because they were passing the ball very well. That's always a good thing to see. How many assists do you have? So, we'll see. I just got to say, encouraging victory for Michigan, and hopefully they'll keep it up. Hey, as always, guys, appreciate your views. If you have any comments, put them in the box below. I'll try to respond as I'm able to. As always, until next time, go Blue.